Darkness clung to the earth like smoke. A stranger walked alone on a beach of bone-white sand. His eyes cut through night like blades. He carried no weapon, only hunger. They whispered his name in fear, Rig, but in the halls of gods he was known as Heimdall the Watcher. He had come down the Bifröst, not to spy, not to fight. He had come to breathe chaos into flesh, to siege humanity itself with a conspiracy no one saw coming. 3 nights, 3 couples, 3 bursts of destiny, 1 secret pilgrimage, and in his wake, the world would split into classes. He did not create humans, he ordered them. He carved hierarchy into bone, and every society on earth still dances on the edges of that division. What was Heimdall's real purpose? And why did he shape human fate in secret? We're about to step into a myth that rewrites how you think about power.
Unveil the legends.
Before he became the whisper in every mortal hearth, Heimdall lived higher, above all worlds, at the breaking point between sky and abyss. He stood alone, at the threshold where heaven touches earth, on the edge of Bifröst, the burning rainbow that seared between Asgard and Midgard, weaving the realms with fire and light. He was not a warrior sent by decree, not a king placed by prophecy. He was the sentinel, the watcher planted at the bridge's head. He stood guard, not out of loyalty, not out of duty, but because he learned something that chilled even the gods. Order must be watched. Where others saw peace, he saw fractures. Where others heard silence, he heard omens. His senses were not mortal. He could hear whispers across realms, the tiniest tremor of movement, even the faintest breath of giants stirring at the horizon. Odin, mighty and distant. Thor, thunderous and rash. Loki, ever smiling, ever slippery. All fought battles the world could see. But Heimdall watched the cracks they could not, the subtle voltage of chaos in human hearts, the invisible fractures in mortal order that could one day rip everything apart. They called him vigilant, but vigilance is just fear in motion. He feared disorder more than death. He feared chaos more than the giants. This was the true reason he walked down from his golden tower, not merely to watch, but to shape what he feared most. He disguised himself, not as a god, not as a weapon, but as a wanderer, a stranger. They called him Rig. No trumpets, no fanfare, just footsteps on dirt, water, and fire. Night 1, a rickety hut. A couple hunched over smoldering coals, their faces etched with hunger and toil. He slept between them. 9 months later, a child was born, not beautiful, not noble. A thrall, a slave, the lowest rung on the human ladder. Night 2, a sturdy longhouse, oak walls, warm hearth. They offered him bread and ale. Again he stayed. Again he vanished. 9 months later, a son named Carl, strong of back, skilled with tools. A freeman, neither master nor servant. Night 3, a mansion of cold stone and bright flame. Silks meets firelight. He was welcomed as kin, not a guest, a ghost with purpose. 9 months later, a child called Jarl, a noble, a warrior, born with fire in his eyes. 3 births, 3 destinies, 3 social orders carved with divine intention. And that was not even the worst of it. Listen closely. Legends lie, not because they're false, but because they hide motive. The old story tells us Heimdall wandered Midgard disguised as Rig, sleeping with 3 couples. Then the 3 social orders were born. Thralls, Carls, Jarls. A simple origin myth, a myth to explain why the world has structure. That's the surface narrative. But beneath the poetry lies something darker. Think of what this myth actually does. It tells you every human place in the world was divinely ordained. Your rank, your destiny, your toil. Not random, not chaotic, but assigned. What if Heimdall's secret trip to Earth wasn't born of affection, but calculation? Not a creator's kindness, a strategist's design. He didn't just sleep with humans. He engineered their roles. From the lowest to the highest, each class was given divine legitimacy, not born out of circumstance, but out of cosmic decree. Look at it from another angle. This isn't a tale of births. It's a tale of boundaries. Barriers drawn into the bones of society. Lines carved by a god who knew fear. Fear not of giants, but of chaos unleashed. Thralls stay low. Carls toil. Jarls command. Mobility only by chance. Only by blood spilled or luck stolen. This isn't creation. This is a cage gilded by myth. And perhaps that's the real terror Heimdall heard on the wind. Not giants marching, but humans rising. So he didn't just shape society, he sealed it. Not for harmony, but for relentless control. Here is the bitter truth. In giving humans structure, Heimdall gave them their chains. In the old poem, Rigskula, Heimdall, under the name Rig, isn't just a visitor. He's the architect of humanity's hierarchy, the one who determines where every life will sit in the world. From Thrall to Freeman to noble, each class becomes a foundation stone in human society, ordained by a god, not earned by a mortal. He did not grant freedom, he carved limitations. With a single divine act, he transformed chaos into order, but that order was fixed. Birth determined destiny. Power and poverty inscribed into bone. The classes he fathered became permanent. Social distance. Where one stood on the ladder was no longer chance, but sacred decree. Kings and servants. Leaders and followers. Boundaries woven into the fabric of everyday life. And here's the cosmic sting, the real irony, the god, who feared chaos above all, who stood vigilant at the edge of worlds, created the very divisions that breed it. In trying to control humanity, he forged the rifts that would tear at it for generations. Hierarchy became blood memory, conflict baked into society's marrow, all because one divine sentinel walked among mortals, whispering order into their bones. Silence falls, but the echoes, they don't die. Heimdall shaped the ladder, but humans climbed it and faltered. We stand today on that ancient structure he set in motion. A whisper from a wanderer, and humanity obeyed. Tell me this in the comments, do you think myths like this justified social order, or warned against it? And if you thought a god reshaping human destiny was dark, wait until the next story. Because there is a god who stole fate itself, and he didn't just reshape society, he reshaped reality. Coming next.